Welcome back, ladies and gents. Welcome back. Holy cow, has it been a week already? I'm getting texts right as I start my live stream. Unbelievable. I'm a few minutes late. Holy cow. It is a crazy week. It has been a crazy week. Holy. Anyway, chat, come on in. Come on in. Let's hang out. Let's hang out this evening and have some fun. Talk about some of the things that have been going on around Canada. It's been nutty. It's been crazy. It's been something else. Let's say that at least. Last minute change to the thumbnail. I thought I'd go with this one. Hooray for biology. Holy cow. Yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about the Ontario election. That's crazy. That already, but we're definitely going to be talking about a bunch of different things this evening because this is, it's more fun. It's more fun what's happening than anything else that's been going on. And you know what? The best part is it may look like in Canada things are getting crazier because they are, but these are the death throes of like woke leftism. They see that it's dying. It's totally dying in America. It's whoa, and people are freaking out. And it's good. It's good. It's fantastic. It means that things are going to go back to normal around here. It's just going to take a minute. We're going to have a little bit of an adjustment period. Let's just say the least about that. But hooray for biology! It is. This is definitely. Oh, it's winning. It's winning. And well, got to pave the path before you can bring everyone else along, you know, and that's how it works. That is how it works. He is live. I am live. I'm live, and you're live in the chat with me. Absolutely. Hey, Utaka, and hey, everyone. Utaka's in the room. Utaka, great moderator right there. My man. He'll be there and Squamish tomorrow night for our big meetup. It's not going to be the only meetup that we're going to be doing, but it is one of the first. We're going to be doing, we did one a while back in Calgary, and it was such a hit. It was a lot of fun. And so we got to do this again. That's right. Joe Daracel with the Clyde says, smash the like button. Many fingers missing that like button. Get it in there. Just mash the screen. Just make sure it doesn't navigate away or something like that. But hey, get down there and hit that like button. You know what it does? It really helps out because, like I said, YouTube's always making a profile on every user on the website. It doesn't matter actually if you are signed in or not. It doesn't matter because YouTube takes your IP data and it says, oh, coming from this computer, from this location, that they extrapolate. They know who you are. You might as well make an account so that you can chat in here. It's great. And what it does, what they're actually doing with that is they're trying to serve you better. They're trying to serve you better videos because at the end of the day, they want to serve you ads. And the way they can serve you ads is to have you be on the website longer, watch more videos. And to get you to watch more videos, they want to recommend good stuff for you, stuff that you're going to actually like. They're not trying to force feed you anything like some people might try to say. It's more, they're trying to get you more stuff. And incidentally, it's funny because the left was freaking out this year about how conservative punditry was pushed out more in the recommendations on YouTube than anything else. If anything, what that is, it's an indication that more people are going away from the left and going more towards the right, conservatism, call it what you want, libertarianism. They're moving towards that, and that's a good indicator. It's an indicator because if the algorithm's recommending it, it's because they're recommending more of what the people actually want to watch. If they were just serving you up stuff that you didn't want to watch, click, you turn away. Anyway, I'm making this a big long thing. The reason why the like button helps so much is what it does is it tells YouTube that the content that you're watching is so good, you would recommend it to other people who like the same kind of stuff that you watch. So that's what they're doing with that. They're gathering that data and they're trying to promote channels that people enjoy. They're going to try to promote videos that people enjoy and get that out to more and more people. So every time you hit that like button, you comment, you engage with the video, it really helps out a ton. It is so worth it. It really is, because what we're doing is we're building community here. We're getting more people involved all the time, and it's fantastic. So get in there, hit that like button. It helps out a ton, and it's good for everybody. Clyde, we know, Clyde, we know. Okay, I'm just explaining it. There's maybe new people in the room. There are a bunch of new people that have come and joined the community lately, and I want to welcome everybody there. If you're new to the channel, you're new to this, my name's Clyde. I do these videos every morning on weekdays. At one point I was doing that every morning. I love doing it. It's so much fun. So I do that, and then I go to work, I pull wrenches all day, and then I come home and I'm a family man. Now on Wednesdays I do my show with Marty, but Fridays, which you're here for now, this is the live stream format. There's a lot of stories we can't get to throughout the week, or maybe you want to go more in depth than I can do in a 10-minute video. So we get into some of these stories. Awesome. It's a lot of fun, and we get to have instant feedback with the community right there. It's really is a riot. It really is a riot. Friday, Wobbly Pops. Great work, Clyde. Thank you so much, Andrew. Really appreciate it. Let's start on that. We're gonna have some of these Wobbly Pops. Get yourself one if you've got one. Whatever you got. That's the thing. Where is that nat gas cruise boat in Squamish? It's at wood fiber. So the wood fiber LNG is the project that's going up in technically it's Squamish, but it's not really Squamish. It's actually across the water, which is called the Howe Sound. And yeah, they're building that facility where they're gonna refrigerate natural gas so that they can squash it down to liquid form and ship it internationally. And it's great because it's economic activity for our country, which is fantastic. And that's the kind of thing we need more of. It will be, I think, our only independent port at this point to get stuff out, unless I'm mistaken and there's something in Quebec. But yeah, no, we need a lot more of that stuff. Alberta is little Texas. Do you have a very similar culture? I don't know. I would like to find out. I know I know people who are from Alberta, very proud of being from Alberta, and everyone I've ever met from Texas is much the same. I can tell you that. So a lot of people compare the two cultures. You cannot use this ID for $5, says talking of promotions, you should sell some bags of your coffee at the pub tomorrow. We have that all lined up. That's going to be a thing. So if you're a coffee drinker and you don't want to use the snail mail to get your orders, actually it'll be a lot cheaper for you because you're not going to have to deal with shipping. So if you're coming out to the pub, yeah, we're gonna have coffee for you. We're gonna have some teas. We're gonna have a bunch of different stuff, and then we're gonna have Wobbly Pops together, and we're gonna have fun. How far is Squamish from Whistler? About 30 to 45 minutes, depending on how fast you are in your automobile. Richard Brander with a $6.99 super sticker. Is that a super sticker? Super chat. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much, Richard. Thank you. Rupert going on nat gas too. Okay, well that's good to hear. The more of these facilities, the better, really, at the end of the day. And it's crazy, the environmentalists, like, it's clean energy. It really is. It is unbelievably clean. It's supposed to clear skies, but cold tomorrow in Squamish. It was a lot of that today, and it's gonna be that tomorrow, and it's gonna be beautiful. When that sun comes out, it just warms you right up. Doesn't matter how cold the air is. Wood fiber was a pulp mill. I worked there doing shutdowns. Yeah, wood fiber. That's where it gets the name, the pulp mill, the old pulp mill. And my assumption is the reason why they picked that site is because the old pulp mill had a lot of the foundation to build a facility on already. So it was kind of a no-brainer. Why not just reuse that infrastructure and get that there? Alberta is Ice, Texas. There you go. Ice, Texas. I especially like the live stream because YouTube doesn't interrupt with endless useless adverts. Thanks, Clyde. Apparently if you're on the mobile version it does. So I don't know what to tell you there. I don't know. I'll try to keep things Oh, I got to change this. People have mentioned this before and I always forget to do it. Put it on live chat instead of top chat. I never noticed the difference, but you guys let me know if you notice something different about that. Now it's on live chat now. YouTube Premium has no ads. Yeah. I keep trying to convince my wife, get YouTube Premium on your account. It's fine, you know, just so don't have any of these ads. I personally have YouTube Premium. I use YouTube all the time. Why wouldn't I want to have it adless? Trish Prue with a 279 super chat saying, listening here in Squamish, drinking a Bloody Caesar. All right, you're in Squamish. Just getting ready for the event tomorrow. That's awesome. I can't wait to see you there, Trish, and tons of you are coming out. So it's going to be a lot of stuff. Wood Fiber has great deer hunting. I didn't know that. I know some people that go deer hunting. I never heard of going there as one of the places. So yeah, maybe talk to my buddy that I work with. He's an avid hunter. Use Brave browser, no ads. Yeah, Brave browser is good. I do use it. I don't use it for the show, but I do use Brave. It depends on how you have it set up, and sometimes it breaks websites. You just gotta, like, the levels of security you want on it can seriously mess up a website. You come into Alberta soon, Clyde. We're not sure if Alberta's on the lineup just yet, so want to go to Alberta, but our last one was in Alberta. Our last meetup was in Alberta. I'm pretty sure the next one we do in Alberta is going to be in Edmonton, not Calgary this time, because the last time we did Calgary. And I'm not sure if the next one might be in Ontario, actually, of all places. We've been talking about going to Ottawa for a long time. You know, I've never been to Ottawa, so it's one of those things, and we know so many people in the area, so it'd be great to catch up with a lot of people there as well. But we're gonna make a bunch of different dates and a bunch of different spots. It's not gonna be like a tour where we're going consecutively here and there. We'll just make them on like decent weekends that seem to work for the most amount of people. I think that would be the best way to go about it. I mean, it's domestic flights. I mean, they can get spendy, but you know, we can make it work. We can totally make it work, and traveling around would be a good thing. And it's an excuse to I know, like, my wife and kids, they want to go and visit other places in Canada. So that's definitely a thing. I guess East Coast is still the arsehole of whatever is left of Canada. Well, those are gonna be the hardest places to get to. That's for sure. I mean, just airfare is so much more to go out that way. Yeah, but we'll try to make it. Come to Vancouver on the way back. Well, I mean, Squamish is it's basically Vancouver, is it not? There's a reason they don't China runs Canada. The reason they don't what? I missed the context of that. Trump and Pierre make North America great again. Powerhouse. Yeah, absolutely. We're going to get into some of that stuff tonight. I'm going to talk about some of the things that, disappoint me about, conservatism in Canada, and things that excite me about conservatism in Canada. You can't be full bore one way or the other. And that's the other part too. Oh, welcome to the chat, Tamara. Welcome in. Cape Spear, Newfoundland is a must see. I'll keep that one in mind. Absolutely. I think we were talking about Newfoundland as being one of the destinations for sure. I just don't know any places there. Never been. Jackass Whiskey and Pinto Beans for $2 says, I'm roasting a chicken. It smells good. Good for you. All right. Oh, I've already eaten. I feel like, oh, when someone's talking food and you just haven't eaten yet, that is a hard one. But no, I've already eaten. David Edwards with a $5 super chat says, supper and a pint on me if you come to Ottawa. Well, as long as we still have jobs, LOL. Yeah, well, it depends on what type of work you work, what industry you work in. I'll always have a job because I'm a mechanic. I mean, it's one of those things. In fact, I was talking about this with Marty recently, and I don't remember if it was live or if it was off the air, But the interesting thing about being a mechanic is it's recession proof. And when I was a kid, they told us, get into the trades, it's recession proof. Or at least some of the good teachers that we had, some of the other teachers doing the old, work smarter, not harder. And don't be a dirty grease monkey. And those people all that listen to them all have coding degrees, and good job. Chat GPT does a better job than you do now. So where was I going with that? The career of being a mechanic is an interesting one, because it doesn't matter what the economy is doing, we're still employed, but the type of work changes through the different economy setups. So if you're it's funny. The worst times for us is when the economy's chooching hard and going good, because everybody's in brand new cars. And when everybody's in brand new cars, I'm new to the channel, Clyde. Is that a typo? Is that really a typo? Welcome, Doberman Cannel. Anyway, but yeah, when the economy's chooching hard and going well, everybody's got brand new cars, and we're just doing oil changes. We're checking over people's cars. We're like, nothing's broken. Okay, enjoy your day. And that sucks. But when the economy's good and average, right? There's lots of repairs and stuff. And when it's really bad, people will do their repairs, but they're really skimpy on which ones they want to do. And a lot of asking you, is that really necessary? Just worried about safety, that kind of thing. So, and some people, and when the weather's nice, they might even park the car and cancel their insurance and get that bicycle out. I've seen it. That's what happens when people are, and Canada is definitely in that sort of realm as it is right now. And speaking of which, I wanted to share this. Holy cow, I lost it in my big old list of things I wanted to talk about, because that's how it always goes. Our man over at the Taxpayers Federation, Franco Terrazzano, had an announcement to make today. And man, I really like these guys. Over the Taxpayers Federation. They got our back. And right as I was segueing into that, Andrew with a super chat for $5 says, Canadians visiting more Canadian places, beautiful places, think locally, not globally. Yeah, of course. Domestic trips throughout the country are super fun. And like, I grew up in Essex County in Ontario, and me and my friends, we used to spend all our free time. We'd spend our like allowance money and pocket cash that we made from our jobs on gasoline, so we could cruise around the county and just check out all the different places and see new things. And that was us growing up. Like, it's just traveling around and checking things out is so much fun. We do a lot of junkyard hopping, looking for old cars and stuff. That was a thing we used to like to do. But that's the thing. Yeah, Andrew, thank you for the super chat. That's absolutely a great way to see the country. David Edwards for $5 says, I do renovations. 3/4 of my business is luxury spending. I will always have repairs, but if people are broke, they don't spend on new kitchens. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, you'll always have stuff to do, but yeah, it depends on how the economy's doing. It really, really affects things considerably. Anyway, getting back to it, what'll keep more money in your pocket is people protecting you from the evil tax man. Really, at the end of the day, this is the reality. Now, Justin Trudeau's government brought forward this idea of a capital gains tax, increasing it, which is detrimental to the economy for so many reasons, that seems to fly right over the heads of liberals and leftoids. And the reason is because they don't really see past like the second tier, third tier, all the different degrees of separation from the actual implementation of a rule. Now, what happens is if you start taxing people's investments, the capital gains, it's going to have a trickle on effect across the economy at large, and it changes a lot of the the incentive structure for why people would even bring their money here in the first place and invest if you're just going to take that money away from them. It's theft. It's theft at that point. And I know a lot of people argue taxes in general are theft. And I would agree with you largely. I would agree with you largely. And and the government just seems to, it's death by a thousand nails. It's incrementalism. We'll get you with a little bit of a tax, and then we'll get you a little bit more and more and more and more. It's time for Canada's Tea Party. It really is. It's unbelievable how much people are willing to put up with. And that's it. Where are you from, Clyde? Kingston here. Grew up in Windsor, Ontario. Born in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. And moved out to the West Coast when I was younger. And I live in beautiful British Columbia. It's a great place. It's a great place. Yes, Tea Party Clyde. Really, I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. At what point, what was it? The Tea Party, they threw an entire boat's contents into the harbor in Boston over a 2% excise tax. They weren't even taxed on their income. Think about that. Think about that. And they said, "Oh, you're gonna take it? Well, we're gonna just throw it in the harbor," and kicked off a great thing, The whole independence thing that happened back in the 1770s. Yeah, we all remember, and it was the point. It was the proof that liberty would create the most amount of prosperity. Period. We ought to get back to that. We're having some prosperity issues. Anyway, back to this. Franco Terrazzano, my man, Franco Terrazzano from Taxpayer Federation is bringing suit to the federal government. Canadian Taxpayer Federation is taking the CRA to court for enforcing the undemocratic and illegal capital gains tax hike. That's right. The CRA is already collecting on something that didn't go through the democratic process. This is taxation without representation. We've heard that term before. What does that mean? It means we are a people who are ruled by representatives of ourselves. This is our representation. We're supposed to be representing ourselves. We don't have leaders. I really hate this concept that they talk about leaders, the leadership, and all this stuff, all this other stuff. Let's get back to representative. Let's be, who's our representative? Who's the top representative? Because these people are supposed to represent us, not represent whatever the heck it is that they're representing. Trudeau tampon, 279 super chat saying 74K Canadians died last year waiting for healthcare. Yeah. Oh boy. I wasn't expecting to get into the healthcare conversation tonight, but I would definitely like to get into that at one point. What do you even say to that? That's a reality. But holy cow. Let's get into this. We're not going to let the unelected bureaucrats take more money from Canadians through this illegal tax grab. Barbara, for $10, says, Clyde, you have a doppelganger. Watch the video by Tom McDonald. Daddy's home. The guy looks like you at 1 minute and 51 seconds. I got to pull this up. Okay, hold on a second. Doppelganger, Tom McDonald. Hold on. Let me get this. Because I'm curious now. YouTube. Doppelganger. I like Tom McDonald. He's great. Also Canadian, by the way. You saying I look like Rosie O'Donnell? No, I'm joking. I'm looking at this. I can't play the audio. So I cannot play the audio, so I won't be doing that. Let's get this on the screen just so everyone can see this. Look it up, Clyde. I'm looking it up right now. I got it on the screen. So what was the number? I gotta find. It was at 1 minute and 51 seconds. So where are we going? 1 minute 49:51. Is that me? Oh, that's too funny. Oh, that's great. I need to get one of those. My son's been after me to get one of those jumpers. Because he has one and he wants to match Dad, right? That's funny. That's really funny. He's got a darker beard than I got, but yeah, I see it. I see it. We're gonna see this in action. Where's my whoa, I can't play the audio. What are we doing here? So sad, too bad. Oh, too funny. Awesome. That's my debut. Oh, you guys are hilarious. North 49 RC, welcome. Moderator, now member of the channel. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. That's awesome. Thank you. Oh, wow, that's awesome. So yeah, there I am in a Tom McDonald video. Trevor Walker with a $27.99 super chat. Thanks. Wow, that's awesome. Say something in the chat if you just accidentally hit enter before you got your message out. Drop something in the chat there, Trevor. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And yeah, don't forget to go over and check out the coffee, because everyone who's had a taste of that coffee from the Clyde Brew something store has definitely been enjoying it. And you get to have a cup of joe with me every morning when we make these videos. Trevor Walker, you from Sask? You famous Clyde? Yeah, that's me. That's it. No, it's not me. But if Tom McDonald were to ask me to be in a video, I would say yes. I would absolutely say yes. That would be a lot of fun. Absolutely. Oh, I just gotta wet that whistle. Come on. Let's get into this. Okay, so enough of that. Let's get back to this. Taxpayers Federation, they're filing lawsuit against Canada Revenue Agency, against the federal government, the tax collectors who are currently collecting on a tax that didn't even pass. Hasn't even passed. They've prorogued Parliament. So will it even be tabled again? Don't even know. This is what's so crazy about this story.
The Canadian Taxpayers Federation has a simple message for the Trudeau government. No taxation without representation. The Canadian Taxpayers Federation is taking the Canada Revenue Agency to court for enforcing the undemocratic and illegal capital gains tax hike. The capital gains tax hike blows through a fundamental principle of Canada's democracy while also blowing a huge hole in Canada's economy. No taxation without representation isn't just an important principle or a catchy slogan. It's enshrined in the Constitution of Canada. It's Parliament's jobs to approve tax increases.
That's right.
But the government failed to introduce legislation.
And Parliament is what? Our representatives. Let's say it all together, folks. Our representatives, not our leadership, not our leaders, not our rulers, our representatives. They're supposed to be representing our point of view, and they've been walking away from that. They've been taking a different approach entirely about that. And yeah, I don't want to stand by and let that happen. And neither does Franco Terrazzano. He's standing up and he's taking the government to court. This is awesome. I love it. And by the way, you can go and you can support the Taxpayers Federation. Get on over there to taxpayer.com. These guys, they're doing this from donations from people like us. You know, this is how they keep things going. They want to help people save money on their taxes. And they do this by challenging the government, and challenging the government not just on the taxes that are there, but making sure that they're doing what they say they do with the taxes they are doing. Tamara Leach saying, yeah, they're doing amazing work. So if you can, if you're able to spare a couple of bucks, send it their way. Send it their way, because they're doing bang up work. It's fantastic. And like the whole lot of them, of course, Franco largely the face of it, and at least he has been on this channel anyway. I happen to get along with Franco quite well because he's very much into Austrian school economics and all of the same stuff that I like a lot. So I'll continue with his speech here.
Debate the legislation, pass the legislation, or proclaim the legislation into law. And with an election right around the corner, it likely never will. Yet unelected bureaucrats at the CRA are taking billions of dollars from Canadians with this undemocratic tax hike. This tax hike will cripple Canada's economy. This is a tax hike that punishes Canadians who worked their entire lives to save for their retirement. This is a tax hike that will punish young, smart Canadian graduates who want to start the next Google to leave Canada and set up their business in other countries. To put it,
countries like America right now, which is absolutely insane. In America, they're attracting so much wealth because they're making some serious promises to cut taxes and regulation to make it possible for people to enter the market. Now, people say like, but the regulation's there to protect the consumer. That's why it's there. That's the excuse to bring it in. Always the excuse to bring it in. You know, the old saying that the first thing to be bought and sold in a regulated market is the regulator, is the person who regulates it. And what do the regulators do? You're talking about elected representatives that are like, duh, I couldn't make it in the private world, so I got myself elected into government. What do they know about regulating a market? So who do they ask? They ask the people who run the industry in that marketplace. What do you think they're going to say? What do you think they're going to say? Are they going to say, yeah, we really want you to tie us up, make sure that we do things all right? No, they say, we want you to create barriers to entry in this marketplace so that we can have a virtual monopoly. Thank you very much. And that's what regulation does. It stifles economies. It's awful. It's awful. And it really only benefits few over the many. So yeah, I'd love to see more of this in action. Let's get to this.
Bluntly, this tax hike is a financial sucker punch to the Canadians who worked hard to invest in properties, to create small businesses, and to save for their retirement. The capital gains tax hike will affect more than 1 million Canadians, half of whom earn less than $117,000 annually, according to the C.D. Howe Institute. This tax hike will blow a $90 billion hole in Canada's economy. This tax hike will mean 400,000 fewer jobs. And the Trudeau government has no one to blame but itself for this mess.
Absolutely. And it works like this, right? So businesses that are operating in Canada are looking down to the United States and they're going, hey, you know what? It would only be this much money to move our entire business down, just cross the border and rehire everybody, retool, do all that stuff. And we could do that and we would save so much money in the short run. And then not even considering totally considering the long run, but only in the short run would they be able to recoup all their costs, which is insane because businesses are looking to invest in America right now. And if they're in Canada, well, they're looking abroad. G-Meister, member for 31 months. That's crazy, 31 months. Shout out to Tamara. Canada is behind you and we all support you. That is very true. Shout out, Tamara. Can't wait to have you on as soon as your trial's done. We gotta have you back so you're not muzzled, so you can actually talk about all this stuff again. Finally. But yeah, getting back to this point. So we saw recently the CEO of SoftBank, a communications company in Japan. It's not a bank. I know it's called SoftBank. What they did was they had, after Donald Trump said anyone who invests more than $100 billion or more than so many $1 billion will get fast tracked. All your stuff, fast tracking it for you, no problem. We'll sign all the paperwork for you. We'll get you through the EPA, get you through all of this regulation. We're gonna get it down for you. Now he joked about when they announced they were gonna invest $100 billion in America, and Trump was joking, saying, "Well, could you do two?" He's like, "I don't know, I think about it." And then they had this announcement just the other day. It's insane.
Last month I came to celebrate your winning and promised that we will invest $100 billion. And you told me, "Oh, Masa, go for 200." Yeah. Now I came back with 500.
Now I came back with 500. And that's how it works. That's how it works. When you want investment, you create an opportunity for investors to come in and do that stuff. Now declare heat pumps stupid for Canadian winters. Yes, they are. I mean, maybe southern British Columbia winters, perhaps heat pumps work if you're like here, you know. I mean, what's the temperature right now? It is not 0. I mean, a heat pump works at 0, but you're talking like middle of Canada. No way. Not even working. It's crazy. There's not much heat out in the air to transfer into a pump. You use more energy. In fact, those heat pumps, once it gets this cold, they just have an electric filament that heats up. It's just a resistance heater, like an old-fashioned electric heater. So it's not very helpful whatsoever. Andrew with another $5 super chat says, "Thank you to Mara for making me feel I could be more." I don't need this, hun. My daughter's giving me something. Okay, I'll hang on to it. All right. Where was I? Andrew, the $5 super chat says, "Thank you, Tamara, for making me feel I could be more free." Thank you. Absolutely. And thank you, Andrew. Thank you. I really appreciate that. That's amazing. Wow. Yeah. Tamara, again, got to get you on the show. As soon as possible. As soon as you're free. Because that's going to happen. You're going to win. Let's get back to this. Franco Terrazzano.
The government chose not to pass the capital gains tax hike with its budget. The government chose to prorogue Parliament. Canadians should not have to pay for this government's mess.
No.
Canadians should not have to pay for a tax increase which never passed Parliament and likely never will. The Trudeau government should tell the CRA to stop enforcing this tax hike immediately. But the Trudeau government has so far refused to do the right thing, despite both the Conservatives and now even some Liberals criticizing this undemocratic tax hike. Mm-hmm. We at the Canadian Taxpayers Federation are not going to let unelected bureaucrats take more money from Canadians with this illegal tax grab. Wow. And that's why the Canadian Taxpayers Federation is launching this legal challenge.
That's amazing. Holy cow, I can see better. I didn't realize I had the wrong glasses on. Wow. Okay. I can see clearly now. All right. The blurry's gone. I was wondering what was going on there. Holy cow. It's like, these things kicking in really early tonight. It says Yuko up here. Yukon J with a $20 super chat says, "Sorry I'm late. Just arrived in Squamish. 7,288 kilometers driven since January 8th on my way to Anchorage from Quebec. Where can I park overnight in this town?" You know, that's a good question. I think Walmart is always a destination. You're allowed to park overnight in any Walmarts. If you can't find anything else, there is a Walmart in town. So yeah, hit that one up if need be. But yeah, I think there might be a few other places, but I know for a while they were cracking down on people in their vehicles because poverty and people couldn't afford to live in a house. So like just going down a back street or whatever wasn't working out for people. Trudeau of Tampon for $2.79 says Trump would free Tamara and Chris. Yeah. It was his ab 51. Yeah, absolutely. They would. They absolutely well, we would see that. But Yukon J, thank you so much for the super chat and looking forward to meeting you tomorrow. I wonder how many people are gonna be there. It's gonna be a lot of fun. North 49 RC with a $10 super chat saying, "Is Stephen Guilbeault protecting Jasper? Is Randy? No. Who is protecting Banff? Yeah, nobody. And in fact, I don't know. It's in my guesstimate that the bigger the disasters that happen in these areas, the more the environmentalists like that. Because then they can go out and say, look how worse it's getting. They mismanage things and then they blame that the sky is falling. It's really gross. It's disgusting the way they operate. So what do we get into first? There's so many things I want to talk about tonight, and holy cow, is it just getting ridiculous? The environment here in Canada at the moment, with all this prorogation and tariffs and all of it. Let's get into some of the news that's just coming out today. Holy cow, I even lost where I was. It really is coming down to that. So we've been begging for an election for some time. Let's get on with it. You know, we look at the polling data, you look at the polls, and this is what we're seeing. We're seeing Canada with a giant blue wave, except the teal wave that's happening in Quebec. Whatever, it's better than the Liberals. Let's be certain about that. But the big blue wave that's come over Canada, and like let's not kid ourselves. Who cares? Who cares who runs the Liberals? Who cares who's in charge? Like, who absolutely cares who's in charge of the Liberals? Really, at the end of the day, they're going to be in Jagmeet Singh's position of third party, with the NDP relegated to, I mean, are they even going to have party status after the next election? That's, go to Park in Brackendale. Oh yeah, that might be a place to go. Where was I? So Canadians clearly want an election. They've been bugging. They've been asking, let's have a general election. Let's move on. The world's moving on. Canada would like to move on as well. And stubbornly, everyone in power is saying, no, we don't want to do that. Justin Trudeau making his exit speech was barely an exit speech at all, saying, I'm going to resign in a little bit. Hold on. I got some stuff to do. You know, that's really, I mean, at the end of the day, that's what he had to say.
Kids, about the decision that I'm sharing with you today. I've also had a chance to reflect and have had long talks with my family about our future. Throughout the course of my career, any success I have personally achieved has been because of their support and with their encouragement.
What about the Liberal Party that propped you up because you have a name of a famous prime minister? Whatever. It was your family.
So last night over dinner, I told my kids about the decision that I'm sharing with you today. I intend to resign as party leader, as prime minister, after the party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process.
So never. I mean, so never. I'm totally gonna resign. As soon as this thing doesn't happen, okay, who's kidding who? I'm not resigning. That's Justin Trudeau, by the way. That's what he's got to say. Now, it looks like the proroguing may not even be held up. So there is a court case. They're being challenged on the prorogation. There's precedent from Great Britain under their parliamentary, Westminster parliamentary system to when Boris Johnson pulled a move like this, they said, nah, you can't do that. No, this is purely political. And it's at a time that it's kind of required that we have our representatives. Remember that? Representatives, not leaders, representatives back in Parliament so they can debate what's going on. They can talk about the stuff that's happening, or possibly call a vote of non-confidence so that we can pick a group of representatives that will actually represent us. That's possibly where Canada is organically going. That's possibly the direction that the Canadian citizens would like. Maybe a handful of them don't want that, and they're really, really loud about it. But the majority of Canadians do want this. The polling data suggests it. Absolutely. But instead, we're having a liberal leadership race. Instead of the parties all running in a general election. No. We get to sit around and wait for them to sort out their stuff that they should have sorted out a year ago. They should have figured out that, and there was liberal insiders. If you go back on the channel and watch some of the videos, there were liberal insiders grumbling about ousting Trudeau and all that stuff. But there's no mechanism in the party to actually even do that. Now, while we're in crisis and the Liberals are having an election, well, guess what? More people are being opportunistic. Here's Dougie Boy from Ontario. And he's come forward to say, yeah, I'm going to launch an election in Ontario right now.
Really. Morning, Premier. Lane Harrison, CBC News.
Good morning.
We, myself and many of my colleagues have it on good authority as of yesterday that you will be calling an election next Wednesday. I was hoping you could send us into the weekend with a little bit of certainty and tell us once and for all, will you be calling an election next Wednesday?
We will be calling the election next Wednesday. I'll be seeing the Lieutenant Governor on Tuesday. We need a mandate from the people to fight against Donald Trump's tariffs, the attack he's coming against our families, our businesses, our communities. And with a strong mandate, we will be able to fight with Donald Trump to make sure we stop the tariffs and make sure that we give certainty to the people of Ontario. It may take investing tens of billions of dollars. We'll do tens of billions of dollars. It's no different than during the pandemic. We'll make sure we secure people's livelihoods, and I will do whatever it takes to protect the people of Ontario, in turn, because we're the engine of Canada, protecting all Canadians. We will not back down.
You're the engine of Canada. You're not the engine of anything, man. You're the fuel tank. Sucking it up. Yeah, absolutely. And what a time. What timing. If anybody needs a leadership race, it's the Conservatives of Ontario. I've been saying this for a while, ever since I actually heard about this from Javier Milei of Argentina, where they made it mandatory before any election that every party has to have a primary race. Just in case they have an incumbent that, everybody wants to vote Conservative, but they're like, but the guy who's leading it, awful. Trudeau tampon for $2.79 says, buy slug fart Wexit. Yeah, well, that it might end up going in that direction. So Doug Ford, he knows he's in a position. This is the thing. He knows he's in a position that the Conservatives are what Ontarians want more than Liberals or NDP. That's just the reality of the situation. Do they want Doug Ford though? And that's the real problem. And Doug Ford, he's playing a power move right now. He's playing a power move because he knows that in the current market of politics that he would probably get more seats. And that's it. Doug is a Chino. Yeah, he's a Conservative in name only. Absolutely. New blue part for Ontario. I mean, I wish they were serious. That seems a little bit like PPC for me. So I'm going to stay away from that. But it's just, this is the idea of these that Javier Milei had to say about having mandatory primaries. If you have a slug fart, as you called him, at the helm of a good party with good people and other good members, then you're going to have crap. And this guy, COVID era, give me a break. No, get rid of this guy, Ontario. Got it, fat Trudeau. Nobody likes Ford in Ontario. No, and this is what I'm saying. People want Conservatives, but they don't want Ford. And the other options are World Economic Forum-esque, you know what I mean? It's really, really a bad choice Ontario is being put into, especially in this time right now. In this time where, we have the threat of tariffs and all this stuff. They're using it for their political advantage now. It's gross. It's absolutely gross. And that's why I say we really need to have mandatory chat. You're killing me tonight. We need to have mandatory primaries for all of these Conservatives, or not just Conservatives, all the parties in Canada before any elections. I think that's how it should go. That's my idea. I'm sticking to it. And I like to see where that's going. Now, what's happening down south, like some good things are happening. We're hearing about tariffs and we're hearing about like all the bad stuff because our politicians are trying to drive us apart. That's really what they're trying to do. And well, there's lots of good things actually happening. Well, Trump's not treating Canada so well. In fact, you know what? Trump, I'm going to go out on a limb and say Trump probably loves Canadians. Like he loves the people of all kinds of places. He just doesn't love our cronies. And boy, are they ever cronies. Like you think American politics gets pretty scummy and crooked? Man, Americans need to come here and have a look at how scummy and crooked it gets. It really is gross. It's disgusting. It absolutely is. And we need to drain our swamp. Now, is there a guy to drain our swamp? We'll see. We'll see if Pierre ends up being that guy. But the thing is, in a world where we have Javier Milei behind the economy of Argentina, and we have Donald Trump behind the economy of the United States, after we saw a presidency, 4 years of Donald Trump, where things got better. And then we saw 4 years of Joe Biden, the establishment, and it went really bad. It went really bad economically and in all kinds of ways. Not dissimilar to what we're seeing here in Canada with inflation and crime on the rise, all that stuff. Not good. So with Javier Milei and Donald Trump at the helm, to see the stark difference of how good it can get, I'm kind of glad that we're being held off on this election for the time being, just for the time being. Now I want to get to it as soon as possible. In fact, let's get to it as soon as possible, because by the time we actually get to vote, the word will be out, the news will be out about how good things are getting in the United States. But the point of what I'm trying to say here is that with all that good news comes inspiration. And with the people of Canada inspired by what they see down south, and especially with if Pierre goes through with what he says he's going to do and defund the CBC and all these other news media, we'll probably start to get to see some real news, real things that are happening there. And here's one of the great things that happened, and this was in his speech at his inauguration, a little excerpt from it that is all the talk of the town here in Canada right now.
This week, I will also end the government policy of trying to socially engineer race and gender into every aspect of public and private life.
Great. Love it.
We will forge a society that is colorblind and merit-based.
Merit-based. I love it. I love it.
As of today, it will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
Wow, standing ovation. So I love it because the whole idea of this gender stuff, it really is just to confuse people. Excuse me. It really is just to confuse people, and it's to get people riled up about something that doesn't even exist, something that's not even an issue. It really is. It's about riling people up and getting them pissed off at each other. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Now I keep telling people this part, the part that gender and sex are different things. They are different things, and I'm not saying it's like social construct. What I'm saying though is sex is what you have. It's what you're born with. It's every living organism has a sex. It's you, and you have the organs to prove it, right? And that's the proof is in the pudding or the stirrer or whatever you want, however you want to say it. So that's sex. Gender is just how you describe it. It's a descriptive word that you use in grammar. It's a grammatical contextual thing. That's why it's so confusing when people say your gender is male. It's like, wait, there is no male gender. There's a masculine gender. There's a feminine gender. Those are genders, and these are words to describe objects that you're speaking of. right? Sexes are a biological thing. Welcome to biology and English class, apparently, because we all have to learn this. And it really irks me when I see the wrong language being used. You know, it's kind of like when somebody says a double negative and you're like, that doesn't mean what you actually think it means. You know what I mean? You're actually agreeing with the thing, but yeah, anyway. Gender and sex are synonymous. They are not synonymous. No. Sex is the physical attribute. Gender is the descriptor for the physical attribute. And there are actually two other genders in grammar. There's indeterminate and neuter, which is just for inanimate objects, or neuter is for inanimate objects, like not like in French where table and the sun and the moon, they all have genders. They don't in English, so that makes it neuter. Trudeau Tampon says, "Nice organ got there, Clyde." Yeah. I like to play the organ. That's what I was referring to, actually. But so without getting too much into the semantics, that is it. So indeterminate would be like for a word like dog. You don't know if a dog is male or female, so you don't give it the masculine or feminine. Gendered words like bull, or the other word that I probably can't say on this because it has new context because of culture. North 49 RC for $5 says Trump is taking care of us without our government realizing it. He's helping us pull our heads out of our ass. Absolutely. And we're going to get into that because this gets funny. It gets funny and it gets kind of cringy at the same time as well. So anyway, they're using gender where it should be sex, and then they're trying to aspire, or they're trying to attach. Even the woke people are doing this. They're trying to attach sex attributes to where gender should be, and gender attributes where sex should be. It's really just a confusion. People not understanding how language works, and language is just a way of describing the world around you. And if you start confusing people with how you describe the world around you, you can't make sense of things. And that's the point. That's the purpose of this whole idea of cultural Marxism. Give it up, Clyde. Who cares? DEI is over. Well, it's on its way out. But in Canada, we're still fighting this battle, and it's funny while it's stupid. So here it is. Trump is right. There are only two genders. There's the male and female. Again, it's masculine. And anyway, the semantics. All these other stuff is mental illness. What it really is it's the victim Olympics, right? If you can be a victim, then you can get special treatment. In the woke world, you get treated special if you can prove that you're a victim of some sort or another. So if you aren't already a victim, you can invent your victim status, and there you go. Now I've invented my victimhood. It's a stupid squiggly line, and it comes with purple hair or whatever, and piercings in really not aesthetically pleasing places. Andrew with the $5 super chat says Trump got the Jan 6 people out of jail. I wonder if Pierre Poilievre can get Tamara and Pat King and all out. I really hope so. Really hope so. Well, we're all hoping that they don't go to jail in the first place. But yeah, no, I get it. I don't know if does the prime minister have the power of pardon? Excuse me. I think the prime minister should have that power. But yeah, it would be interesting to see. No, Tamara's not incarcerated. No. Tamara's in the chat with us right now. Mary? Yeah, no, Tamara's in there. Tamara, tell everybody you're safe. Oh, that's funny. Well, she was in the chat earlier. I don't know if she still is, but that's good. So here we are talking about this. This is just victim status, looking for more victimhood. But if it really came down to it, a lot of these people, they're not willing to make any sacrifices for this stuff. There's no sacrifice there. They're there for a profit. You get it? If it really came down to having to like forego anything for that identity, they'd ditch it. in a heartbeat. Olia for $9.99 says, "Hi, Clyde. I know it's been a while, but have a super chat." Well, thanks, Olia. It's funny. I knew you're here while I'm talking about this stuff. I don't normally talk about the woke culture war stuff, but let's get into it because this is an interesting topic for the current time and all of that stuff. Angela Cordoso with a $10 super chat says, "Watch Trump meet a bunch of bureaucrats in California. He was totally ripping them a new one for their stupid red tape they impose. He wants them to get rid of the red tape tomorrow." He's not kidding when he says stuff like that. He's not kidding. So yeah, holy cow. Holy cow. Tamara is alive. Yeah, Tamara is alive. What are you talking about? Of course she's alive and she's well. We're just hoping the court dates all go swimmingly. Now, of course, with Donald Trump having made that announcement saying that we're only going to recognize 2 genders, can you guess which 2? Yeah, of course. The traditional 2 that come with a whole set of organs and ability to procreate and all of that other stuff, all the good stuff that nature provides. It's only going to recognize those 2. What do you think of Pete Hegseth? I like him. I think he's great. They're criticizing him because, he's just a pundit on Fox News. Like, what are you talking about? He's like elite school alumni. Like he's military. He's been a serviceman, been an operator. It's you can't pick a better guy for that job. North 49 RC with $5 super chat says, "Buddy, my parents believe the CBC because they grow up with it like me. They trust it like gospel. There is still a family divide." Yeah, well, just wait until they have no funding. That's going to be great. That's going to be a moment. And it might be a crazy moment. It might be like, come to think of it, like just like the cognitive dissonance that people might have. It might be on par with like when the USA took over Japan and the generals went in and they instructed the emperor, who everybody thought was directly descended from God, instructed him to go on the radio and tell everybody that he's just a guy. That he's just a guy. Like almost like a Neo from the Matrix moment. I'm not the one. I'm just a guy. Right? And holy cow. Like talk about mind warping. It was insane. And like a lot of people did there was a lot of self-deletions. It was too much for people to handle. It really, really was something else. So yeah, I wonder what their reaction is going to be like. This guy, Barron. Wow. Probably top of the campaign team there. Maybe if we got time, we can get into that. So yeah, when the CBC gets defunded and no longer gets carte blanche to basically take advantage of people who have no other means of getting any information, or seemingly have no other means, or have never thought to reach out and look into other ways of getting information about what's going on the planet or in their own backyards even. They might have some serious cognitive dissonance, and wow, I'm curious at what that's going to look like. The CBC is a descendant of the dragon people. What are you talking about? What? I don't like Trump's strategy BS plan of AI vaxing. I don't know if that's his plan. He just had a guy speaking about technology for targeting particular cancers. I know the speech that you're talking about. I don't think that was like an official strategy to force people to do anything. It was just somebody talking about technology. Of course, and that's the nature of the beast. When mRNA came on the scene at first, it was like, wow, revolutionary new idea. And then when they forced everybody to take it, wow, now everybody hates even the concept of mRNA. It's like, you know, it is a bit of a baby in bathwater situation. Doesn't mean the technology is no good. It's what they've implemented and forced people to take. Absolutely. But yeah, that's yeah. You can't demonize an entire technology. Kind of like the environmentalists in the internal combustion engine. I mean, we can make cleaner internal combustion engines. We can make ones that actually work in their design purpose instead of do some sketchy stuff. Yeah, it's sketchy. So yeah, I'm with you on that one. I'm with you on that one. But AI should be used for medical beds. I don't know. There's a lot of good uses for AI moving forward, but we're getting off topic. Let's get back to this. So Jagmeet Singh, now making some bold statements about us, and you know, leave it to the Liberals and the NDP to find a new avenue for immigration into Canada en masse. They're considering taking all the wokies and bringing up here to make us brokies. This is what's going on in Canada.
Should Canada amend the Safe Third Country Agreement for trans Americans who come to our borders seeking refuge?
On that note, I think it's really sad for the folks in the States right now that heard the president basically say that they don't exist, or that their reality or their identity is no longer recognized. It's really scary for a lot of folks. And I just want to acknowledge how scary that must be for people who heard that, who now feel really alone, who feel really afraid. I think what Canada's always done is shown as a country that we are there for people when they're in their times of need. It's something that's been a point of pride of Canada. So looking at the third country, that agreement and how we can amend it, it's been something that we've been considering for a while. We've raised concerns about the agreement for a while, and so it's something we'll look at.
It just makes me laugh. We're gonna take on refugees because they don't like the bathroom that they gotta use. Like, it's gone so far. It's gone so far. Like, you know, the whole refugee program. If we had a time machine, if you had a time machine and you could take that and you can go back to the 40s or 30s, when was it that we came up with the protocols for this idea of what a refugee is? And it used to be, by the way, it used to be the nearest state, which the nearest like government or the nearest geographical area to you that is safe and has the treaty. The treaties on refugees and refugee status. Like, if we went back there and we're like, hey, listen, I know what you're talking about right now. You're talking about people in war-torn areas where you got to get the women and children out. But what if I told you that in 2025, they're going to talk about people who feel awkward using the bathroom with the picture of the thing because it doesn't match their purple hair. Imagine what they would say. They would say, you're ridiculous. How did you get in here? And why are you even speaking to us? This is just insane. North 49 RC with a $5 super chat says, Clyde, the issue that so many people have been the victim our own policies. They're victims of our own policies. But we need to make sure we take that through our own generations. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to get my grip around what you mean by this, Clyde. The issue is that so many people have been the victim of our own policies, but we need to make sure we take that through our own generations. Oh, so we're not leaving these policies that we're victimizing ourselves with, so that the next generation gets victimized by our own shortcomings and our stupidities. Yeah, I agree with that for sure. Hey, Clyde. Hey, Rachel. How are you? Yeah, they are losers, and they're sore losers at this point. But that being aside from the case, like, this is where it really starts to fall apart logically when you pick at it. And we'll get into that in a minute. Actually, I want to save that argument for a minute, because here's Mark Miller talking about it as well. Thoughts on immigration from the immigration minister. Because if we're going to have immigrants coming in on refugee status because they won't let me put X instead of male or female on my driver's license. I need to change countries. I need to get out of this country because my ID, which apparently is you shouldn't have to have an ID when you, I don't know, vote, perhaps. You don't need one then, but you need one for everything else, and it has to say what your political ideology is on it. Because I mean, at the end of the day, what is that? What is that? Wokeness, the woke thing. It's woke is. I was discussing this actually with Alex the other week. What is woke? How do you define it? Woke is pushing a political agenda using other people's altruism against them. So being a cry bully, hoping that they will capitulate because they're nice. And at some point, we just stop being nice to that behavior. Lightgiver for $5 says the vote for Pete was 50-50. 3 rhinos voted against him. J.D. Vance was the deciding vote to get Pete approved. Oh, I didn't know it was that close. I didn't know it was that close. But yeah, Pete Hegseth, he's awesome. Awesome. I can't wait to see what he does with the role. I think he's going to do a bang up job. So here's our immigration minister chiming in on Pierre Poilievre, and we'll get into what Pierre said.
I also, Pierre Poilievre, again, is being a jackass with his whole weaponization of the gender debate. He said he only recognizes 2 genders. I've only ever seen him really recognize one or spend most of his time on one gender. So
yeah, he hangs out with his wife all the time. What are you talking about? What is that even supposed to mean? He only recognizes one gender. What are you saying about that? His deputy is a chick. His deputy in his party, in his political party, is a chick. She's a lesbian. Like the straws that they're tugging at is just crazy. It's just crazy how much they'll tug at them. Trudeau for the 279 says, looks like Mark Miller's hair has emigrated. It's the leaky bucket right there. I don't know. He's just got the little doily thing going on in the front. But besides that, this is what Pierre's the one who's being divisive in this whole thing.
Debate. He said he only recognizes 2 genders. I've only ever seen him really recognize one or spend most of his time on one gender. So at least that's a step up. But again, he has to be stopping a jackass on gender issues. It's just stupid and it's not mature.
So for one, the whole weaponizing of gender issues, that is woke. That is wokeism, is weaponizing it so that people can use this tactic to force you, to browbeat you into doing what their bidding is. That's the whole idea. And people are not falling for that anymore. Whoa, don't do that. Don't do that in the chat. No. But yeah, so people are not falling for this anymore, and they're not going to allow for it. And of course, they're running on this because they're concerned that they're going to lose their grip. They're going to lose their powerful position over people and to be able to get them to submit to their will. And that's what woke is. It's trying to get people to submit to your own political will by using cry bully tactics, using other people's altruism against them. And people are kind of fed up with it. They're kind of fed up with it because, put it this way, if you're forcing people to do a thing, you're rude. You're the rude one. Just trying to live your life, go on and live your life. Nobody cares about that stuff. Ooh, sorry. Don't spam the chat. It's not going to work for you. moving on. So on Twitter, we see lots of this. Government stance on gender sparks debate. Because, you know, the liberals are the ones that accuse the conservatives of bringing US-style politics to Canada. But every time there's a hot button issue in America, they bring it back up here to Canada. It's funny. It's funny how that works, right? It's always accuse the other side of exactly what you're doing in the moment. And of course, there's a lot going on Twitter. Now, why did this come to play? Why did this become an issue? Well, there was this interview that happened. And in the interview, of all the questions that the interviewer could ask, he decides to ask this issue. Now, Mark Miller is saying that Pierre Poilievre is trying to bring this in. He openly tries to avoid the question. Like his whole tactic here, and I'll get into that, is trying to, Clyde, do something, run away. What, run away to the bar where everyone's going to join? I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, so this is him actually trying to avoid the question, but they can have their sound bites to throw on Twitter. Calling him a jackass is crazy. Do you have your Millet speech on the WEF? It was amazing. Was that a new speech? Because if it was a new speech, I'm going to get into that, because I know there was one a year ago. This interview was awesome. So let's get into this.
First day on the job, President Trump signed an executive order, the U.S. government only recognizing two genders, male, female. They're unchangeable. If elected as prime minister, is that something that you're going to kind of walk in line with, or what are your feelings on that executive order?
Well, I don't know. Do you have any other genders that you'd like to name?
So I love this. And I think this is the first time Pierre's pulled this one out, so it's a little bit... mods take care of that. It's a little bit rough around the edges, and it's a little cringy at this point, but it is actually a good argument. We'll get into why.
Me personally,
yes.
I'm just asking more so if you're in line with what he is saying. Do you agree with what he's saying? Is that something that you would be lockstep with if elected as prime minister?
Well, I'm not aware of any other genders than men and women. I mean, if you have any other that you want me to consider, you're welcome to tell me right now.
Well, there's personally, I am a man. I am people who say cis man. There are people there who they say they're
me too.
Gender neutral.
Well,
you are a man. Yes, there are people there who say they're gender neutral. Yeah, they say they're gender neutral. They're a trans person. Is that something that you?
Nux for Cup, rewind a few minutes. We just went over that. Absolutely. We just went over Mark Miller's reaction to this answer.
You would recognize here, whereas in the States, at least with their U.S. government, the way they're seeing it, there's only two.
I'm only aware of two. But,
yeah. Tell me if there's some others.
If you come up with another list, then you're welcome to do that. But I'm aware of two. And as far as I'm concerned, we should have a government that just minds its own damn business and leaves people alone.
I love that. Just mind your own damn business and leave people alone. And then he goes on to say that, while you're worrying about all this stuff, there's, poverty, crime, all of this stuff going on in our country. Let's not worry about what bathrooms you got to use, whatever the problem is there at all. It's that's the thing. Wow, somebody's having a good old time. Lamborghini Vienna owner 56. Wow, proud of you, buddy. Welcome to the chat. Oh, or sorry, see you later from the chat. Have good luck next time. Let's drain the swamp.
First day on the job.
Exactly. Why did that autoplay? That was really weird. So here's the argument. The argument here is one like this. Right after this, Light Giver for $5 says Rebel News dropped have your speech yesterday. I'm gonna have to pull that one up at least before I forget, because that's a thing. So I'll just pop that in here so we can go over that, because I would like to see that. Have your Millet. He probably posted himself, did he not? No, probably not. Besides that, okay, let's I'll look that up in a second. this is a good argument. This is good argumentation, because what it is what you're doing is, instead of accepting the premise and then having to defend it of the question, you're putting it on the other person to explain why it's an issue. Why is it even an issue in the first place? Why is it wrong that all I know about is 2? Is there more are there more that are important? Like, is it important? Because if it is, tell me what you think is important. What other genders are important? And then we can address that. But until you give me some specificity, then I got nothing to go on. So I know about 2. People keep telling me there's lots, but they haven't named any. So would you name some? Like, that's the thing, right? I'm a little confused, play it coy on that one. Church of Hertz, I like that name, by the way, for $2 says, let's worry about booster aids still running in BC. Yeah, that's a problem. Antoinette R for $6.99 says, I have a trans kid that thinks all the woke about gender is BS. Wait, I have a trans kid that thinks all the woke about gender is BS. Biology and identity are not the pressing issues of life. No, they're not. And here's the thing. At the end of the day, I don't care what people do with their lives. And this is what I like about why I express this. That, it doesn't matter what people do in their personal lives. The government shouldn't have any business. It's none of their business to get involved. But inversely, if you have some oddity about you, you have no business to dictate what other people have to do around you either. So, we all have our struggles, we all have our issues, and we can all get along and not impose on other people. It's the imposition that what people really despise in this whole thing. It's what Jordan Peterson originally broke out of his shell and said, I'm going to talk about this and it was about the imposition. It's imposing on other people and saying, no, you're going to have to do. Wow, somebody's excited tonight. I'm going to impose my will on you, and because of that, you're going to have to deal with. No, that's not how we're going to do things in our society. We're going to do things along the lines of, we have a set standard of what is polite and what is not polite, and get with that or be considered an a-hole. That's it. Like, it's not illegal to be an a-hole, but you're not going to make a lot of friends being an a-hole. You know what I mean? That's the reality of it. Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition. Chronicles. So anyway, this is the argumentation here. And of course, people are losing their minds. They're freaking out. You got people on Twitter saying this: gender is a social construct and there are more than 2 sexes. I need to be educated more on this topic because I clearly fail to present day biology lesson. This is crazy.
Social construct. I can't believe we still have to say this. Sex and gender are not the same thing. Male and female, those are sexes, and they're not the only 2. Gender is a social construct.
What?
Gender norms are a social construct. Gender roles are a social construct. That is not going to change. It's 2025. Can we stop doing this? Really? But wokies around the place are freaking out about Pierre Poilievre on this one. Here's a guy, apparently a prominent wokie. Here's a leftist, says Wyatt Claypool. Steve Boots melting down about Pierre Poilievre believing in 2 genders for 5 minutes. I'm not going to play the whole 5 minutes, but here's an excerpt of it.
Unchangeable. If elected as prime minister, is that something that you're going to kind of walk in line with, or what are your feelings on that executive order?
Well, I don't know. Do you have any other genders that you'd like to name?
How about non-binary?
How about non-binary? So non-binary, what does that mean? It means you're not one of the binary. It's funny because then all of this stuff is in contradiction to itself. So non-binary, okay, so gender's not binary. But then you have people that say, yeah, I'm trans, which means what? You're transitioning between of one of two of a binary. It's hilarious. It's crazy. Like, what are you transitioning to? Are you transitioning to like, is there some third sex that's out there, like some phenotype that goes between? I know we've heard of like hermaphrodites, or people who are born intersex and that kind of thing. Those are misfirings. Like that's your body not knowing which one it was supposed to go to. Like that's an anomaly, and it happens, and it doesn't make those people bad. It doesn't make those people broken. Well, I mean, there is a disability in its own right. I mean, that's what it is. But it doesn't mean that those people are bad. But it's not a condemnation of the people to just say what it is. This whole thing of like being a thing because I identify. Again, I defer back to the reason why. It's because there's an economy of this stuff. If you can you could show people I'm this other thing and therefore I'm oppressed. I'm totally oppressed. People are oppressing me. They're not. Nobody is. Nobody. When you go in and like, what's the biggest oppression? When somebody's big strong person with a miniskirt comes in and a beard and somebody says sir and you go, it's ma'am, like that's not oppression. It's not oppression. I hate to break it to you, but that's not oppression. And you know what? Raising that as an argument, all it does is it diminishes the actual oppression that actually happened to people who were actually oppressed in history. And it really shows how nice we are. At the end of the day, how nice we really are. We're just really nice people. We put up with this crap. We put up this crap. I have a colleague who says I hate you for 5. I have a colleague who is a trans man and thinks his gender stuff is dumb. He's cool. She's cool. It's never been an issue with her ever. And that's it. I'm not insulting people who are trans. I'm not insulting people who are, whatever. There's like a whole spectrum of like, and this is the thing. There are masculine men, that's normal, and there are feminine women, and there are masculine women, and there are feminine men, and that's just normal. The feminine men don't have to become women. Masculine women don't have to become men. It's really messed up when these ideologues come in and tell people that that's how it should go. Like when they're telling tomboys that they should really be boys. Nah, that's damaging. That's damaging. And it's cult behavior. It's really, really crazy. My phone's going off the hook. It's crazy. So yeah, that's cultish, weirdo behavior. But at the end of the day, again, people are just nice. And nobody's being oppressed. If you would just not be an a-hole, people would maybe like you for just being you. That's it. Mr. Roscoe Pico for $20 said, thank you. Says, here's a bonus for troll destruction. Nice. See you later, trolls. Goodbye. We've got great moderators, by the way, in this channel. You come in and you troll. You're just going to get modded out of here. You're going to end up wasting your time. I'm going to make 100 accounts so I can write A on the chat. Cool. You're great. Have fun. But we got awesome moderators, and they'll take care of that in a heartbeat. So knock yourself out, folks. Knock yourself out. We're playing Whack-A-Mole tonight. Yeah, it's true. It really is true. So that's a thing. But again, getting back into this. In our society, in Canada, in the United States, people are very nice. And what I think these woke idiots are they're mistaking a reaction to I almost swore. they're mistaking a reaction to really bad behavior as discrimination, right? So if you come into a place and you make demands on a person immediately and you start acting like a complete jerk, you're gonna
you're gonna get a pushback immediately on that. You're not gonna get away with it with most people. And most people, like some people will capitulate just to get you gone. They're not gonna, it's not gonna work out for you. You're not gonna make a lot of friends. And even if people do capitulate, they won't long term. They'll make excuses to make sure you don't come around anymore. And that's the way it'll go. And it's not because they're discriminating against you because you decided you like a silly haircut in a silly color with things on your face or whatever it is, clothing that you choose to wear. We've had these fads throughout our society over and over and over again. We've had, different fads where people wear their hair in goofy ways, wear goofy clothing, pierce their faces, tattoos all over, silly things, and everybody's been fine. It's only now that you think you're special. And the reason why is because you're goading for yeah, dumb woke crap. Yeah, it's because you're goading for extra special privileges. Now, don't confuse special privileges with rights. We all have rights. You have rights. We all share the same rights. And no one's trampling on your rights. No one's trampling on your rights. Anyway, getting back into this. Why is it so angering that Pierre Poilievre only knows about two genders?
You absolute dope. Oh my.
I'm angry. I'm angry at the lack of knowledge of my intricate woke ideology from people who normally would give two shits. Sorry, I did swear that time. Like, why would they care about the stupid stuff that you and intellectuals like to talk about back rooms, doing your intellectual thing? Which is not intellectual. It's charades. It's craziness. Anyone see Freeland's on-camera panic attack at the House of Commons? It was very odd. Oh, I did see that. Actually, you just reminded me. Maybe I'll make a short about that. But this is, it's like, oh, so angered that somebody doesn't get the thing. Maybe it's just a bad set of ideas. I don't know. Throwing that one out there.
So we're just going to loudly announce that we don't even have a basic understanding. Two-spirit. Sure, yeah.
Okay, what is that? What's this two-spirit? Now, I didn't have to look this up. I knew this, but I love the Wikipedia, because Wikipedia is super leftoid, right? And despite Wikipedia being leftoid, they had to be honest on this one. Two-spirit, also known as two-spirit, or occasionally two-spirited. Two-spirited away, is a contemporary pan-Indian umbrella term used by some indigenous North Americans to describe Native people who fill a traditional third gender or gender variant social role in their communities. You're talking about like what on average people would call a puff or whatever. Like somebody is just not. You still want to. You're part of our membership and you're one of us, but you're not one of the guys. Come on, you're not one of the guys. We gotta come up with something else, Well, it turns out it's not all this traditional that it's put out to be, and this explains the two Randys. Oh, that's funny right there. Oh, I love that. That's great. Oh, too funny. Oh, Jay Rusty, that was good. That was good. So this doesn't go way back like they would have you believe. And that was the whole like narrative of like, this is an ancient native thing since the days of Turtle Island, No, it's not. It was coined in 1990 as a primarily ceremonial term promoting community recognition. In recent years, more individuals have taken to self-identifying as two-spirit. Two-spirit as a term and concept is neither used nor accepted universally in Native American cultures, indigenous cultures that have traditional roles for gender non-conforming people have names in their own indigenous languages for these people and their roles they fill in their communities.
Now, gender nonconforming, I mean, that's a blanket statement. That's not a gender. It's just nonconforming. It means you're not conforming to the typical gender role that you would typically have. A stay-at-home dad. That's gender nonconforming to a typical role for a dad. Sorry, it's not a new gender. Stay-at-home dad is not a new gender. As much as you want it to be, or anybody might want it to be, you're not a victim. It's not a new thing. So it's just you're not of the typical, protocol. That's it. Wow, I'm atypical. Like, does that sound good? How about that? We'll just call people that are anything but, that want to identify as anything but the two, just atypical. So you're atypical. Anyway, moving on, because there's more important things to talk about. That's where we go with that. But that's two-spirit. That's great.
Yeah.
Me personally,
Yes.
I'm just asking more so if you're in line with what he is saying. Do you agree with what he's saying? Is that something that you would be lockstep with if elected as prime minister?
Well, I'm not aware of any other genders than men and women. And if you have any other...
Before he gets into that, I want to address this. Victimhood is a mental illness. Now, in some cases it is. I think writ large in society, as this woke stuff has been playing out, it's less of a mental illness and it's more of, well, it could be a mental illness if you're talking about like vulnerable narcissism. If you look into what vulnerable narcissism is, as opposed to like flamboyant or extroverted narcissism. That's not the term I'm looking for. I'm looking for don't have it on the tip of my tongue. But it, rather than being a victim thing, it's more of actually being the perpetrator. And this is where the term cry bully comes in. We're looking at people who are looking to get away with stuff. They're looking to get away with things, and they're using this as a means to do that. And to beat you, to browbeat you into submission and make you submit to their will. That's what it is. So these people who are claiming to be victims is like victims. They're actually the perpetrators. They're the perpetrators in these cases. And this is why you see it a lot. There seems to be a high propensity of people who identify as something else that go into little girls' locker rooms and things like that. They're doing it to get away with something. They're not doing it because that's the thing that it makes me feel great. No, that's just how I was I was born this way, No. And whatever happened to the idea of like, be good with the skin that you're in, be happy with it. Be happy with it. Be happy with it. Oh, that reminds me of Brew's rules. In fact, that's actually where I gotta go with this one. I bet you I can find it real fast. Here it is. Here it is. This is actually perfectly fitting for this situation, because this is what we should be teaching kids.
Channel 5's Dr. Steve Brule.
Hi, I'm Dr. Steve Brule. We'll focus on genders. Some people are boys, but they want to be girls. Some girls want to be boys. Just be happy with your vagina. You got it already. You
got it already.
Don't have to make a new one. And if you got a penis, just keep on it. Don't cut it off.
That's it.
For your health.
For your health. For your health. Just be happy with what you got. Just be happy with it. You don't gotta change who you are. No, and this is something that I clearly think is destructive. It's damaging in our society to be telling little children that they're not the real them. There's something wrong with them, and they need to change themselves. They need to change their bodies. They need to do that stuff. It's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. And of course that was comedy. But that was when you could talk about this stuff and not get in trouble over it. Yeah. Just be happy with your vagina. Just be happy with it. Be happy with who you are. And we gotta do a lot more of that and convince Convince kids that they're great, they're beautiful, they're fantastic little people. And I love watching children grow. I have 2 of my own, and they're beautiful. I absolutely love them to bits, and I wouldn't change anything about them. That's destructive. That's destructive. And, you know, everybody doesn't like a little thing about a quirk about themselves. You know, you don't like the way your hair grows this way. You don't like the way your ears look. You don't like the way, whatever. I say that because I got earphones on. I'm happy with that way. By the way, all the trolls are going to be like, Clyde is Dumbo ears. I don't know. But just be happy with it. Absolutely be happy with it. That's a healthy way. Instead, we've got stuff like this. It's just crazy.
So he is loudly announcing a lack of an even elementary school level understanding of this.
This is where I have a huge problem, because we're talking about a guy in this clip who's with Pierre Poilievre. He's a news anchor. He's a guy, he's interviewing Pierre Poilievre. This guy couldn't clearly answer the questions, and he's saying, this is elementary school level. But this guy's a professional in media who knows the culture and knows all the things, knows what normalcy is in the zeitgeist that we call Canadian society. And here's Pierre Poilievre saying, I don't know. I only know 2. Can you tell me any more? And the other guy's like, I got nothing, man. You know, because he's being called out in the moment because he's reading a teleprompter with some gotcha question that somebody in the back room wrote. And Pierre's like, you know what? I'm just gonna dodge this one. How about you? How many genders are there? Can you list a few? And the guy's like, I got nothing, man. I got nothing. But my problem here is with the concept of this being elementary school level. And it goes back to what you're teaching children. Why are you teaching this stuff to children? You're talking about this being elementary school level. That means you teach this to elementary school students. Teaching them about sex, teaching them about fetishes and weird stuff. That's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. I mean, just the list of the things. The list of the things. Exactly. Why are we teaching them to very young children? This is wrong. What are these things? You can't read them on the screen because they're so tiny. By gender. What? All 3 of those mean the same thing. They're just different symbols for the same. They can't even agree. They can't even agree on it. Are you bi gender? No, I'm bi gender. Wait, what do you mean by that? Jackass Whiskey and Pinto Beans for $10 says, I was shopping today and I got a pound of chicken for $3.21, found a burger for $3.99 a pound, took the chicken out of the oven and am making gravy for the drippings. Give my dog the drumstick. Awesome. Cool. Now, getting back to this, the bi gender. Okay. Then it moves on to demigender. Epicene? I don't know. Androgyny? Androgyny just to me, it's not a gender of its own. Androgyny just means people, when they look at you, they can't tell. You know, the famous thing from SNL. It's Pat. Nobody knows if Pat is a boy or a girl, right? And they're just trying to figure it out. Androgyny is not a sex. Get over it. Get over it. The world is getting over it. The world is moving on. Woke people, the left, and like, I'm not talking, I don't think all the left is like this. I just think leftards, like leftoids, they're like this guy.
He is loudly announcing that he doesn't understand that non-binary people exist, that he doesn't understand that transgender people exist, that he doesn't understand that intersex exists.
So transgender one is my favorite because it negates the whole thing. Because the idea of transitioning from the gender that you are, to the other gender that exists negates the idea that there's any other genders. You get what I'm saying? You follow me there? Like it kind of kills your own argument in that one. I love Pat. Yeah. That's it. See, I love Pat. Androgynous. You're not discriminated against. Pat, people love you. If you're androgynous and people can't tell if you're a boy or a girl, people still love you. People still love you. They just don't know. They don't know that about you. The Pat classic comedy. Well, it was a sketch on Saturday Night Live. I never saw the movie. I know they did make a movie, but what's a demigender? See, who knows? Who knows? Who cares? Is the real answer to that question. Who cares? Who cares? A lot of it's like fetish stuff. It's fetish stuff. And like, it's not that, it's no, you don't identify as the thing that you're into. I know you might identify as a Power Ranger fan, but like, whatever, be a Power Ranger fan. You don't need to have Power Ranger fan on your ID. It's just the thing you like. So this is the thing. This dude is confused. You be you. We're gonna we'll call you Rick Army. I don't know that. Peppermint Patty from Peanuts has been going on forever. I thought Peppermint Patty was just a tomboy, not androgynous or whatever. Fetish, very true. It is. That's all that is. It's Ron. Don't forget you get your coffee. Thanks for the reminders. I don't ever plug my stuff, and I'm guilty of it because I just get super interested in the conversation at hand, and I want to talk about the things that's going on in the show, but I never plug my own stuff, and I'm really happy about my moderators because they always tend to remind me to make sure I plug the stuff, get it out there so people know about it, because how would you know about it if I don't ever talk about it? And talk about it I shall. I want to let people know that the coffee that we make at Clyde Brew Something coffee is fantastic. And it's not just some drop ship label coffee where we just pick it up. No, we're actually involved in the process. I'm actually involved myself. Check me out. I'm brewing, or I'm roasting coffee. Yuji, who also will be at the meetup tomorrow night, is an amazing roaster. And we got together and we hand selected some different beans. We looked at different roasting profiles to figure out the right flavor, the right way to bring this forward, and made some really tasty cups. And believe you me, I drink this every morning. We've got MAGA Medium, make Americanos great again, folks. We've got dark humor, your morning coping mechanism, and even a logical decaf, an ecological decaf. Get on over to the store, check it out. It's available for purchase tomorrow night as well. If you bring some cash, we can hook you guys up with some coffee. You won't have to pay any of the shipping if you're at the event tomorrow night in Squamish, British Columbia, and that will be at the Shady Tree Pub from 6 o'clock onwards. And we're excited about it. I'll be picking up Marty from the airport in the morning. That's what we'll be doing. Morning coping mechanism from the mechanic. Yeah, that's right. That's how I roll, man. That's how we roll. But yeah, get yourself over there. Get you some of that. If you can't come out to the event tomorrow, it's available for shipping on the website. And we found a new shipper, so you don't have to go through Canada Post. We found a better rate. It's a little less expensive to do the shipping, and we're constantly working on better ways to get the product to you guys at the cheapest rate possible. So remember, we're always on that. I drink tea. Well, Sorry. Yeah, we don't have tea. We don't make tea. We got coffee, and it is delicious. Canada Post is Canada Toast. See you later. See you later. We're not gonna be working on that anymore. Now let's get into this other topic, because this is a perfect segue to get off all the woke stuff, because I'm just tired of it at this point. I thought it was funny, and I do think it's great. It's great. You know what? I'm gonna segue back to the other thing that we were going to talk about, but I do want to talk about a thing or two. So we see clips like this of Pierre Poilievre, and he stands up, and then other times he's doing stuff, and you're like, why don't you just come out and say it? Come on, what's going on? We can move past this. Canada, I know they're going to try to browbeat you in the media because they think that everybody's clearly. The country's not woke. The country isn't woke. It's not. There are a few people in the major cities, and that's about it. They're a very, very loud minority, but that's what they are. They're a minority, and we don't need to capitulate to them any longer. So the thing is, when I look at Pierre Poilievre and I see what he's doing recently, I think, cool, I like it. I like where he's going. I like the things that he says, that he's talking about, the things that he does. Sure, I like where it's going, but don't always judge people on who they are. Judge people on who they were. But we'll get into that. But like, listen to some of the things that he's saying here. Here's a great point where he's talking about false refugee claims, which we might see with the non-binaries and stuff. All the people that don't have ones to zeros, they're coming to Canada for their fake refugee claim. Here I have to say about this.
There are between 20,000 and 500,000 people in Canada illegally.
Yeah.
20,000 to 500,000. They don't know. And they say there could be more. Then we know that there are 30,000 people who've been ordered deported that have not left. We know that for sure. Trudeau has lost control of our immigration.
How do you get control?
I will take back control. First of all, we will track down the 30,000 people who've been ordered deported, and I will have them deported from this country.
Okay, this is a really good question. I want to address it. Do you think that people with disability should have extra assistance for success in the workplace? No. I don't think so at all. I mean, I think, it is very nice and a kind thing to do to, make wheelchair ramps, accessibility for getting in and out, things like that, but not for extra assistance for success in the workplace. No, there are a number of things. It depends on what the disability is, of course. People have all kinds of different disabilities, but when you have a disability, you can't knock the rungs out of a ladder to climb the ladder for everybody so that person can get into a position in that. It lowers the standard of society entirely. Instead, we should be encouraging people with disabilities to get into fields that suit them, that don't require the ability that they no longer have because of the disability. I mean, that I don't know. To me, it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense just to say, hey, why don't, instead of looking at someone who has a disability, look at the abilities that they have, and look at the abilities that they have that are exceptional, because that's where you'll excel. You'll excel at actually addressing where people are excellent. And I hope that answers your question. You touched it for $6.99. Keep changing your name. That's funny. Nothing is better. Nothing is better in the morning than Clyde's beans in your mouth. Nothing is better in the morning than Clyde's beans in your mouth. Wow. Okay. I suggest you grind my beans and you put them in a bath of hot water for a little bit, and then drain that out and then drink that. How about that? That's probably a better way of going about it. Let's get back to what Pierre was saying in this clip.
We will track down the 30,000 people who've been ordered deported, and I will have them deported from this country. They've been ordered deported. These are people who are not eligible to be here. We will find them and we will deport them.
Do we have the resources for that?
We do. We just have to direct them to the front lines rather than the back office bureaucracies.
This is an important point because we have Trudeau going out there and telling Trump that I've already allocated a bunch of money for border stuff. Why is he not happy with that? Because you need to run it. You need to make it happen. I mean, that gets into what O'Leary says, is like Trudeau's just the worst manager, period. He's not overseeing what is happening. New flavor, Clyde's beans. Really? Is this going to be a thing now? That's hilarious. How is that not having a real job? Oh, I wish I knew where the question came from. But this is the thing. Yeah, you can't just throw money at a thing and expect it to happen. You got to make it happen. And Pierre, he's proven this. He's talked about this and how, you know, under the Conservatives, they had a lower budget for CBSA. They had a lower budget for the border security, and they were able to do more with that budget. Trudeau's government it's just waste. It goes in, yeah, they're throwing money at it, but you're not managing it. You're not taking care of it. You're not ensuring that the right people are hired for the right jobs. No, instead, it's nepotism. It's nepotism with all these people that just get cushy jobs that pay a lot that don't have any qualifications. That's a big problem. And we can make this happen. And this is what I like about Pierre. So this is the Pierre that I like. Again, getting to the things that he says when he gets out there. Here's another clip. Pierre Poilievre, Trudeau broke the border, and we didn't have these border problems before him. This is great.
They broke the border. Justin Trudeau broke the border. We didn't have these problems before Justin Trudeau. We didn't have Roxham Road before Justin Trudeau. We didn't have these illegal border crossings before Justin Trudeau. We didn't have, the number of asylum claims have gone from 10,000 to over 200,000 under Justin Trudeau, more than 20-fold increase. All the chaos at our border is the result of Justin Trudeau. It's his job to come up with a plan today. You know what we're seeing now, though, is that because the Prime Minister has vacated the border and turned it open to anyone who wants to come in, the premiers are now taking responsibility for our border. You know, Trudeau wants to be in charge of all these provincial areas of jurisdiction, and yet he's not taking care of the one federal job that is most the responsibility of the federal government, which is the border. Right. So we have Quebec sending in the Sûreté du Québec.
Yeah, the government wants to get involved in what? Schools. They want to get involved in that. That's a provincial matter. They want to get into all these other provincial matters. They want to have their hand in the healthcare system, provincial matter. They buy off provinces with federal grants, that kind of thing, provincial matters, and they can't even take care of the border, which is their responsibility. It's crazy. Janice with a $5 super chat says Trudeau Sr. said the government needs to stay out of the bedrooms of Canadians. Yeah, and they don't anymore. That's not the Trudeau legacy now. He absolutely wants to know what's happening in your it's awful. It's awful. I don't think it's any of their business at all. All right, Clyde said it's so funny. Much love. Yeah, it's funny. The beans thing? It is funny. Give me a break. Pierre was never WEF. Or we got the Pierre is WEF people in the chat again. So I get it. Like, and a lot of those people are fans of Maxime Bernier, and Maxime Bernier is trying to tell people that Pierre's WEF. It's not WEF. I mean, everyone's distancing themselves from the WEF anymore as well. I mean, look at Chrystia Freeland. She's trying to distance herself from the WEF. She even deleted her profile. Like, it's gone. You go to wefforum.org/people/Chrystia Freeland / World Economic Forum. Sorry, but we can't find this page you're looking for. Please visit our homepage and find some other things of people who actually want to talk about us and be involved with us. No. And she was, and this is a Wayback Machine. Thank you, Yutaka, for sending me this link. which I'm going to have to hit refresh maybe. There we go. So this was, yeah, Chrystia Freeland's profile on the Wayback Machine. Apparently can't load the image at this point. But yeah, she is a member of the World Economic Forum's Board of Trustees. That's right. Now, they have a habit. What they do is they'll there's her picture. They'll just take any world leader and they'll put a profile on their website and then try to entice them in. That's the thing that they do. But, and again, people use the Wayback Machine to find Pierre Poilievre on there. Never visited the place. And again, Max Bernier keeps trying to talk about this. Max did go to the World Economic Forum. He was invited. He went. He's got excuses for why he went. All of this other stuff. And it's, I get bored with what Max is doing anymore. It's the rhetoric is just, it's not really savory for my liking. But nonetheless, so Pierre, for years and years and years, as we know, and we've seen him in the House of Parliament now, has talked largely about economic issues. That's been his thing. And when I started hearing that stuff, my ears piped up because I'm really interested in economic things. I like learning about economics, and I like when politicians are willing to discuss economic issues. But at the same time, I'm always like weary, like, is this guy just jumping on the bandwagon because everybody's worried about the economy now because it's so bad, and this is the direction that we're going into. Is asking if WEF deleted it or Freeland deleted the profile. I don't know. It would have been WEF. I don't think she's in control of the website, because then she would definitely be part of it. But anyway, looking back, you look back on politicians to see if, you know, how much were they actually, you know, consistent with their messaging. Well, I'll tell you what, Pierre Poilievre, remarkably consistent, which is not only rare, it doesn't exist on this planet when it comes to politicians. This guy is remarkably consistent with his stuff. Here he is in his 20s running for parliament, saying everything that he always says now.
Poilievre is counting on votes from those disenchanted with the Liberals.
Accountability. Accountability is the #1 issue.
Poilievre is the youngest candidate in Eastern Ontario. Despite his inexperience, he says he can unseat a cabinet minister.
The people in this community think it's time for a change. You know, you have a lot of young families who are paying far too much in taxes, and they're simply tired of seeing all of that money being wasted.
Poilievre is counting on votes.
That sounds pretty consistent to what he's saying now and what he's been saying for the past several years. That's remarkably consistent. Again, you don't see that. Here's another clip of him talking. Oh, I don't want to get the copyright music stuff. Where was the bit? I had a clip. Let me, maybe it's this section.
Founder was a great conservative and supporter of John A. Macdonald, and he would have, the Canada's first Prime Minister would have actually spent time in this building during those great campaigns.
Like Macdonald, Poilievre was inspired to enter a life of public service as a young man.
When I was in my teenage years, I used to be more interested in sports. Then I had a shoulder injury that would never go away, so I asked my mother to take me to a Conservative meeting in order to find something to do with myself in my spare time. And I've been active in politics ever since.
Poilievre was first elected to the House of Commons in 2004.
I get the Milhouse
he was 25. Nearly a decade later, he talks about...
Recognize that guy who sat right next to him in Parliament? This is pretty funny. It's pretty funny seeing this stuff now. Anybody in the chat recognize him? Have any clue?
It's about a full-circle moment in his life and political career when he was appointed Minister of State for Democratic Reform.
Well, it was a very humbling experience, I have to say. Like when I went to swear in over at the Governor General's residence, it was very special to have my mother there.
He talks about the ministerial role he was promoted to on July 15th, 2013.
That includes making our institution.
Watch Liberal Michael Clark push PP for more. It says you touched it for $2.79.
Is more democratic. We need an elected Senate in this country so that Canadians can choose all of the people who make the laws of the land.
So, how does this hard-nosed politician respond to his critics?
There will always be critics. I always say those who can do, and those who can't become critics.
I like that.
Later, in the village of North Gore, Poilievre lends his support at a rally held by Ottawa Wind Concerns, a group opposed to the construction of wind turbines in the area.
I believe that it is in the interest of all Ontarians that we have an absolute moratorium on the construction of industrial wind turbines until we know what the health implications of them are.
For this politician,
Wow. So he's remarkably consistent about all of this stuff. There was one question in here I wanted to address. Where was it? It was, you can't defend him on vaccines. There's nothing to defend, actually. So there's a clip that's circulating around. I don't know if I have it right now or not. I don't think I do, but it was a clip of him saying that Justin Trudeau didn't secure vaccines when the rest of the world has been securing vaccines. Now, this is at the same time that Donald Trump was trying to secure vaccines, and everybody's moved on Donald Trump's stance on vaccines at the time when we were all like, "What's going on?" And people were genuinely like, "Hey, what do we do to get out of this pandemic?" As soon as it became a mandate, as soon as it became a forcefully, you're gonna have to do this, Pierre was absolutely against it from day one. And I don't see the discrepancy there. I share the same view. If people want to take, if vaccines are available and people want to take them, that is up to them, and that is up to the market to bring them in. It's absolutely evil when the government comes in, and I'm not talking about just vaccines. I'm talking about any sort of medical intervention. It's absolutely immoral for the government to step in and force you to do anything against your will. Period. No, we're waiting for a more form Trump on vaccines. I don't know. I'm blanking on that one. PP wasn't born into a silver spoon and legacy of elitism and entitlement. No, he wasn't. So, like, my point here is, do I trust Pierre Poilievre? To a point. Yeah, to a point. To a point I do. Do I trust him more than anyone else that's in politics right now? Yeah. Probably. Well, I don't know. I really like Robin Baber, and I do really like Leslyn Lewis. But anyone who's a contender to actually win something, I think he's the guy. He's the guy. And I think a lot of good will come out of it. Will all good things come out of it? I don't know. Will he be Trump? No, I don't think so. I don't think he'll be Trump. Will he be a Javier Milei? I don't think so. Does he have a chance to turn that around and become like them? Yes. And I genuinely, and I want to be serious about this, and I want to be truthful on this one. Does he have the potential to become like them? I think with the large successes that are coming out of places like Argentina and what we're going to see coming out of the United States, if you believe it's going to be a success, which I believe it's going to be a success, with this outlook of smaller government, less government intrusiveness in the market economy and in your lives, being a large success in driving productivity up and driving wealth generation up and bringing more prosperity. I believe that to be the case. If and when all of that happens, and it's very clear that the people are happy to go along with that, I think Pierre would use that as an opportunity, an opportune moment to take into consideration the things that he's read. This is what I like when I see his interviews and I look at the books behind him in his office, and I'm like, read it. I like where this guy's going when it comes to intellectual exploration.
because I mean, it really is a flex when you're showing what books you've read. So yeah, I do see, if given the right circumstances and opportunity, that he could go in the right direction. I think he could. But again, being a representative and not a dictator, right? He can't just come into government and start wielding the power to his will. He'll have to represent the people of the country. And that's why I say it that way, because I wish that would be the case. I wish that he would represent the will of the people, as well as every representative that's out there in public office. Unfortunately, that's not what we typically see. That's not what we typically have. And it doesn't work out really well for us. It doesn't at all. Yes, Leslie Lewis is good. Yeah, absolutely. I'm a big fan of hers. Maybe I could get her on the show sometime. That would be fantastic. As well as Roman Baber. I think those guys are great. And they're not the only good ones. I think guys like Michael Barrett are fantastic. I'm gonna drop the ball on more names. I'm drawing a blank. Not because I know who I'm thinking. I'm thinking of why do I not remember his name? Bald, ex-police investigator. Somebody drop his name in the chat. Is fantastic. Larry Brock. There you go. Larry Brock. Why did I forget his name? Brock's fantastic. And I want to see more people like that. I would love to see more people like that. And we're going to see more people like that. We have people coming up in the next election, the next general election. Because, again, look at the seat counts, right? We're looking at... let me let you look at it. We're looking at a big move in seats. So we're going to have a lot of new faces. We're going to have so many new faces, Kingpin. We're going to have tons and tons of new faces, and I'm looking forward to it. You know, I'm looking forward to seeing Aaron Gunn in there. I'm looking forward to seeing Andrew Lawton in there. It's going to be great. There's going to be a lot of cool people. I'm looking forward to seeing Keith Roy in there for the Sea of Sky Country. And we'll be talking about him a bunch tomorrow, because that's going to be part of the conversation piece. So I'm looking forward to seeing a bunch of new faces, and I'm looking forward to see where they go with this. And again, never dropping the eyes on the prize, right? Don't drop the ball. Eyes on the prize. We know where we want to go with the country. We need to be a lobby group. You know, people complain about lobbyists. No. We need to become, listen, I'm the captain now. I'm the lobbyist now. And we're going to call the government. We're going to call our representatives, and we're going to write them letters, and we're going to say, hey, that thing you did, bang up job. Thanks for doing that. Liked it. Hey, that other thing you did, not so keen on it. Maybe a little less of that. Hey, that other thing, congratulate them, but also give them the gears when they're going in a direction that we don't think that they should be going in. It's our job. It's our job. How can we be represented if we're not giving our voice to our representatives? And that's why I think this is great. CCFR is a lobby group that does good things for Canadians. Absolutely. There are many. And yeah, the CCFR is definitely one. The Taxpayers Federation, that is another great one. There's so many good ones. We are the lobbyists now. Somebody make that meme. Look at me. I'm the lobbyist now. The what was it? The captain one where you got, I don't remember the name of the movie, but yeah, somebody make that meme. PP is the man. Yeah. I mean, he's the guy in charge, right? He's the guy in charge of the party, and he's bringing them into the next election. And I think it's because of the things that he says and the direction that he's been going. He's been pulling a lot of new people on board, people who are traditionally leftists or traditionally left of center. He's getting a lot of popularity with them. Brenda Weeb with a $27.99 super chat saying, stop and think before COOF, the vaccine war of children in schools being vaxxed for everything to go to public school. We were being
condescended. The chickenpox vax did not work. We should have clued in then. Yeah, you're right. You're right. There's a lot of the whole mandate, everything was awful. And I'll tell you what, if it wasn't for a bunch of people getting in their trucks and driving all the way to Ottawa, we'd be talking a different story. Or perhaps there would be a lot of people not talking, not having the courage to stand up and talk about the things that they care about. That was it. And it took the government pushing really hard on the citizens of Canada to say, to force them in a position where they were backed into a corner and just said, no, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. We're taking this back. And we're not, it's not going to be a temporary thing. And, you know, when they put their foot down and Trudeau leaned on that last resort Emergencies Act, illegally invoking it and beating up protesters, freezing bank accounts, doing just atrocious things, like things that the rest of the world, from the history of Justin Trudeau, will always be freezing people's bank accounts. And that's going to be his legacy. That's going to be his legacy because of that. But that was the moment that woke people up, and not just in Canada, around the world. Like, look at this trend towards authoritarianism, and also the trend towards siding with China. China, not so good. And you know what? It woke people up. It woke people up, even like Zuckerberg, who was full bore going towards the Chinese thing. And I don't know if he's being sincere about his change of heart. I don't care, really, at the end of the day. As long as his motivations are to root for Team West, the Western world. We're not doing this China is going to be the next superpower thing anymore. That's not happening anymore. That dream is gone for them. And this is why the big companies are all coming flooding back, and it's great. It's great. The gun show. Are you talking about Aaron Gunn? He's going to be great. I can't wait to see him win and get in there. Who advised Trudeau on freezing accounts, Freeland or Carney? Well, Freeland was excited about doing it. I don't know if she was behind it, but that's where it went. That's where it went. But you know what? I've got to say this. We've been streaming for almost 2 hours and 20 minutes. It has been a slice. It's been a really fun one. I want to thank everybody who's come out. Hit that like button and chatted in the chat, or just sat and listened and hung out, had a couple of wobbly pops, and enjoyed the time that we have. She was still laughing doing it. Yeah, she was. I want to thank you guys all for coming out. Tomorrow's going to be an exciting night. We're going to be meeting up at the Shady Tree in Squamish, British Columbia, with myself, Marty up north. We've got Yutaka in the chat room. He's going to be there. Yuji, who's my roaster, who makes the Clyde Brew Something roasted coffee. He'll be there. I mentioned Alex Zoltan. Yes? No, he's going to be there. He's going to be there. There's going to be a lot of people there. I'm looking forward to seeing who else shows up. It's going to be a lot of fun. And no, there won't be any live streams from there, but there's probably going to be a lot of social media posts, things like that. So look out for those. And oh, of course, everybody, if you're keen, join the Discord. The link will be up here in the chat. Somebody will pop that in there. We only ever put the link up for the Discord server during the live streams. It's a way of keeping the bots and the trolls out. It won't keep all of them out, but it's a lot better than just putting a link in every single video, that kind of thing. You bring shirts, XL, please. I think we still have some XLs in the Wobbly Pops t-shirts. So yeah, look for those. I think Yuji will have those at the show. So check that out. Discord link right there. If you're keen on joining us in the after chat that happens every week after the live stream. What time is the Squamish meetup happening? 6 p.m. is when we're all gonna meet up there. That's when we'll get there, and then we'll be hanging out there all night. So if you don't get there right on time, that's fine. We'll be hanging out for the evening. They might
if you end up in the patio area, they might come and tell you, hey, there's an event here. Tell them, yeah, I'm here for that event. That's what I'm here for. Because the whole patio, indoor patio area is going to be reserved for us, and then we'll probably bleed out. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people. Wobbly Pops LFG, life is good. Let's do this. Anyway, glad to hang out with you guys again. We'll do this again next week, and for all those that don't see us tomorrow evening, we'll see you guys all Monday morning for another show. Looking forward to it, and everybody, keep on trucking.